everybody. I'm Larry Ridley. Welcome to Madden 18 on EA Sports. It's hard to imagine this not being a fun game to watch. It's the Seahawks going up against the Titans. For the call, let's send you out to the broadcast booth, where we'll join our commentators, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Thank you, Larry. We are across the Cumberland River from downtown Nashville at Nissan Stadium in Tennessee. This crowd here fired up for football as a moment ago their Titans were introduced. This should be a good one as the Titans get set to match up with the Seattle Seahawks. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Godden. Charles, we take a look at this Titan Ball Club entering play. They were winners last time out, so they'll be looking, Charles, to make it 2 in a row.
And what I enjoyed when I watched their game tape and their victory last week is they put it together in every phase. Good offense, good defense, and some key plays on special teams. Let's see if they can get that second win in a row.
Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Seahawks, it's been a great start to the season. Back-to-back wins to begin the campaign.
Yeah, you don't want to get too excited. There's still a lot of season to go, but they've come out playing good fundamental football, and that might carry them a long way.
So out come the Seahawks now for their first possession. They'll be led out by their 5'11" quarterback from Wisconsin by way of NC State, and that's Russell Wilson.
And it felt like in watching the game tape, he got everyone involved last week.
He was a manager.
He really was. That's a great way to put it because they ran the ball some. They threw it accurately. 1 touchdown pass, so he didn't, break the bank doing that, but he didn't throw any interceptions. That's the bottom line. That's why a defense loves a quarterback like that. Doesn't put them in bad situations.
And incomplete to open things up. Jimmy Graham, the intended receiver. And that'll bring up second down. To throw again, Wilson. And that one was nearly picked. Not sure he was accounting for the free safety. That brings up third down. So now an early 3rd and 10 here on their opening drive. They go play action now. Wilson. And the Titan defense steps up here, and down he goes. Brian Orakpo in there to drop him for a 6-yard loss, and that'll lead to a 4th down.
Well, that play was the very definition of fast, quick, and in a hurry. Suddenly, he was there.
In a blink of an eye, that happened fast, and a big sack. Fair catch called for and made at about the 32-yard line. So a change of possession here on the punt. And it'll be Titan football. So out comes this offense to take over for the first time. They'll be led out by their quarterback. Out of Oregon, it's Marcus Mariota.
Before the game, when I said hello to him, I tried to give him a little dap, but he wouldn't give me any, and I thought he was snubbing me. Then I realized he's keeping all that flame to himself. How about the week he had last week? AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
And he went nowhere. He'll lose yardage back to the 29. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 13. To throw is Mariota. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the all-pro free safety, Earl Thomas. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. Those free safeties, they get to sit back there if they've got good pass rushers like this team does. Read like a book. He read it like a book and took it in for 6.
And if they use their eyes well and their anticipation skills, they can make big plays, just as what we saw. A free safety's dream. Follow the football, go to it, and take it the other way.
Blair Walsh on to attempt the extra point. And this will give the Seahawks a 7-0 lead. So the defense creating some points, not only getting the interception, but then returning it to the end zone for the pick six. So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. Here's Eric Weems now on the return. And he'll take it a yard or so past the 20, call it the 21-yard line. The Titan offense now working their way back onto the field. They go play action here on first down. Blitz coming, and down he goes. Cliff Averill in there to make the sack. He buries him for a loss of 10. They said there was a lot of discussion in their defensive team meeting room after last week's performance. They had 7 sacks. Something in the water. There's one in the first quarter.
A lot of discussion, a lot of excitement, because now everyone wants to get involved with this. Who's going to continue that process? Who's going to get to the quarterback this week? But they have to be careful. When you have that much pressure, they want to use it against you. Draws, screens, those types of plays.
We'll see if they do that. And the Buffet boys, the O-line. Hopefully they're ready today.
Listen, you got to feed them first. But if you do, you usually get a great product out on the field. And when they play well, the quarterback can't wait to feed them afterwards.
A play fake to Murray. Now Mariota. And he's going to be brought down. Back at his own 6-yard line.
The game plan for any defense is finding ways to make a quarterback uncomfortable in the pocket. When you bring pressure from all angles, you never know who's going to get home. In this case, the left cornerback, right in the face of him, puts him down.
And he gets it away, and it's a laser headed for the sidelines. And the punt over the side in the air, and the spot will be inside the 35. And Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And on the first drive, 3 and out. And I know that these are professional athletes, but I would imagine sometimes you get the nerves at the beginning of a game still, don't you?
Those don't ever go away. And typically what I've heard from guys and what I remember from playing, if you don't have nerves at the start of a game, it's not going to be a great day for you. You're not really ready to play. So finding a way to harness those nerves and not let them affect you in a negative way, that's what all the guys are looking for.
And unable to get downhill there as he'll take this up to about the 37. Call it a gain of a couple, and that's going to leave him with a 3rd and about 5.
Well, so many times we look at a short run and we praise the offense for trying to set the tempo and establish things. But the defensive guys, hey, they just won the battle there. It wasn't a big run given up. They don't always have to absorb the body blows. Sometimes they dish them out themselves.
And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
How about this offense already feeling good about themselves with a touchdown already in their first drive? They've certainly come out firing, even though that one was incomplete.
With the 7-0 lead, more apt to take a shot like that downfield?
Hey, you're one to the good. Go ahead and try and press your advantage.
They're going to try and throw. This is Johnson. He's got it. And he's taken down, but not before he gets this into enemy territory across the 40. They get 25 yards out of that one. And it's good enough for a Seattle first. And I don't know what the method is to know when to dial up a fake punt, when not to, whatever the method there, it worked for him.
I think you actually did explain it. There is no method. It's just a feel, a sense, and a healthy dose of guts in order to call that play in that situation.
Element of surprise, I guess, right?
Yeah, element of surprise and just a strong belief in, hey, we're going to get it done. Defenses always have a goal of holding a runner under 100 yards. Well, he went over 150 last week, won NFC Player of the Week award honors. And guess what? He's got a chance to do it again because of that vision he has. He sees holes that maybe don't exist.
Fresh set of downs here. Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively. Now a play fake here on first down. And he's got it. Caught in the end zone for the Seahawks touchdown. Doug Baldwin, his first touchdown of the new season. And the Seahawks add on to their lead. And he's a little bit on the shorter side as a receiver. Maybe sometimes for the defense, tough to find the little guys, right?
Yeah, sometimes they get lost in the traffic, but usually what it means is that rather than just winning with height or even speed, they use their quickness to find a way to get open.
Well, tall, short, wide, skinny, whatever, there it results in a touchdown. Walsh now for the PAT. And it's good to make it 14-0. So that winds up a 7-play drive all told. And it all culminates with a Seattle score. Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. This fielded at the 2. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. Here's the Titan offense now as they make their way back onto the field. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything, at least. With the former Volunteer Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. It's the Titans with a football here to begin quarter number 2. They're looking at a 2nd and short yardage to start things out. They go with Murray again. And some room to work. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. An 11-yard pickup for the Titans and a first down.
No other way to say it, but it was an off year for DeMarco Murray in Philadelphia, and Chip Kelly's offense didn't really seem to be a fit. But when he went to Tennessee playing for Mike Mularkey, boy, did he fit in a big way.
Finished 3rd in the NFL in rushing behind Ezekiel Elliott and a late-charging Jordan Howard. He was ahead of Howard much of the year.
I remember Coach Mularkey in preseason said, DeMarco Murray's my #1 back. He'll get plenty of carries here, and he did.
That was 2nd down run for Murray. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 45-yard line. So he loses 3 yards there. Now 3rd down.
We think, Brandon, I like the intensity this defense is showing right here in these first few drives. They're not just holding the line because they're doing their job, but they're doing more than that, aren't they? They're getting a nice push into the offensive backfield.
And a great example right there for the loss on the tackle. And this is going to be incomplete.
I tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying to the football. I'm telling you, it's almost 11 to the ball on every snap. Another nice job there to force an incompletion.
He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. And this one hits at the 3 and then bounds into the end zone for a touchback. A reminder coming up in the Sunday night game, matchup you don't see very often, a rematch of Super Bowl 18. The Raiders traveling to Washington, and then tomorrow on Monday night we'll see the Cowboys heading to the desert to take on the Cardinals.
Former NFC East rivals.
And he will lose yardage on the play, back at his own 19-yard line. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11. Again, it's Lacy. And he'll get this up to the 30-yard line. Give him 11 yards that time and a new set of downs.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking him for that much space to rumble.
And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd down. Boy, that's a lot of sirloin steak to be taken down for no gain, partner.
Are you trying to suggest that he is a huge man?
He is
not just a big man, a huge man.
Big boy.
Well, how about the credit then for the defense to be able to chop that big tree and put him on the ground?
I know back when you played, it took 4 of you to take a guy like that down, right?
Well, that's for sure. And then you know what else? I didn't want to challenge him at dinner either. I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. But slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
And he's going to be stopped up at about the 47-yard line. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Nice job by that defensive front there to hold him to a short gain on first down. Well played, I must say.
Yeah, only getting 1 yard. There was no room to run. 2 minutes remain here in the first half. Back to Tennessee after this. When halftime rolls around in just a bit, we'll send you to Orlando. You will hear the dulcet tones of Mr. Larry Ridley with our EA Sports halftime report.
Does dulcet mean good?
Yeah, it's just something that broadcasters say. It's got to be good, right?
It's got to be
you
good.
tell me. That's caught inside the 20. And he gets this one all the way down inside the 20-yard line. He got 29 yards that time. A great job pulling that one in from a guy, as we know, who can really blaze. He's got a lot of speed.
And that speed can work for him so many different ways. Sometimes he just takes off and goes and just runs past people. Sometimes you get people to back off so far that you can catch everything underneath. But still, at some point in the game, you probably have to...
End zone caught. Touchdown, Seattle. Tyler Lockett, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Seahawks find a way to stretch their lead.
Now, that touchdown won't allow you to totally relax, but you can breathe a little easier now. Just increased their lead.
Extra point try now for Walsh. And it is now 21-0. So that a 7-play, 80-yard drive. And the Seahawks capping it off with a touchdown. Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Now Eric Decker and company getting ready to go again on offense. A chance maybe here for them to get him more involved. They're down here on the scoreboard, and he's been very quiet.
And the silence has been deafening for his team. They don't need that at all. They need fireworks. They need explosive plays. They need him touching the football in any way possible. Maybe go to some jet sweeps. Anything to get him going.
Yeah, something to get in the ball. We'll see if they can do it.
Still first down.
They were looking to throw, holding on the big right tackle.
That's real simple, partner. Keep your hands inside in the chest area. You're probably okay. You get it out on the shoulders, get them wide. Usually going to pick up a holding call.
Mariota, and it's brought in by Eric Decker. And he's able to get up here to the 26. He'll wind up getting 11 on that one, and it'll make it 2nd down. Now Mariota. It comes, and he lost the football. Mariota had it jarred loose, and his guys are going to get the football at the 23-yard line.
Well, partner, they went empty set there. No backs in the backfield. All receivers out in the pattern. And in this situation, you know what the quarterback has to do? Act as his own blitz control.
Yeah, he's got nobody else there to protect him.
No one else there to protect, which means he's got to get rid of the football and absorb the hit, but not go down and fumble the ball.
Following the fumble recovery, it's Wilson. That is caught right at the 10-yard line. A nice pickup of 14, and it moves the stick, sets up a 1st and goal.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-arm guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense, as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. Looks like the defense in press coverage here. Lacey will try again. And he will score. Touchdown, Seattle. And he lays Lacy, his 9th touchdown of the season. And the Seahawks add on to their lead.
Brandon, my man, just one sentence for that one. Clinic.
And that's what they've done. They lead the league in points per game this season, but it's been quick strikeability as we saw on that drive.
I think they're actually intimidating defenses because they're back on their heels right away, wondering where it's going to come from, how they're going to hit them. This group is well organized, well coached, and extremely confident in what they do.
Scoring summary, 3-play drive, and it's finished off by a touchdown run coming from Eddie Lacy. Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And the decision to bring it out will cost him about 5 yards as he'll get this only back to the 20. And the Titans getting set to go. Typically down to the first half, I might say, oh, you at least need a field goal out of this drive, but they're down to the point where they need a touchdown, don't they?
Yeah, normally, you know me. I mean, you've been around me for a while now, right?
Unfortunately.
I'm sorry about that. But normally, I'm the one preaching patience.
Yeah.
You know, take your time, first half, you still got a chance. I think they're out of patience here. This has to be a drive that gets a touchdown. So if you're the play caller, you're going to that portion of the sheet that says big-time plays, specials, anything you can use to get yourself back into it.
And he's going to be taken down here as that will lead us to the end of the first half of play. So we've come upon halftime with the visiting Seahawks. They're out in front. As we'll send you down to Orlando as we check in with Larry Ridley and our EA Sports halftime report. Larry?
All right, let's roll the highlights. Pick it up early in the first. Under pressure here, and the ball is picked off. Thomas is going to run it back for the TD. Seahawks land the first punch. We go now late in the first. And he'll eventually be brought down, but not before getting to the 37-yard line. Seahawks have it later on the drive. Wilson's got the completion here, and he caps off the 6-play drive with the score. The Seahawks up by 2 touchdowns. Seahawks have it midway through the second. Wilson's going to complete the pass, and he won't be brought down until he makes it to the 18-yard line. Seahawks still on the field. Wilson's on target here, and it's caught for the touchdown, which takes the lead to 21. Now to late in the first half, Avril's got the sack here. This ends up with a short loss in yardage. Following the forced fumble, Lacy's able to get clear of the defense, and this 2-play drive goes for a TD. The lead continues to mount. So that'll do it for us in Orlando for the second half kickoff. Let's get back up to Nashville as we rejoin Brandon and Charles.
Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll wind up about 4 yards shy of where he would have been if he had taken a knee, as they'll start at the 21-yard line. The Titans offense now, they work their way back onto the field. They come out here with a 0 on the scoreboard. What was said in that locker room? That's what I want to know.
I would love to have been in there because we often have the feeling that there's a lot of shouting, screaming, people upset. But typically, halftime locker rooms are a lot more clinical than that. And in this case, are they upset that the plays weren't working because of execution, or did they think they were just bad plays to call?
Yeah.
We'll find out pretty quickly here if they feel like they had something going, but they just need to do it a little bit better or not.
We'll find out. And Matthews has it right side. A Tennessee first down. That one Mariota to Matthews. Mariota on first down. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Cliff Averill in there to pick up his second sack now of the afternoon.
And that's his second sack of the game, but this player, disruptive in all phases, whether he's going upfield, coming underneath, you name it. He's a big-time guy you have to block.
And he powers his way up past the 30. 5 yards gets him back near the original line of scrimmage as they'll be left with a 3rd and long.
I'd say they've got to find a way to get him going. He's such a big part of their offense. I wonder if they might throw it a little and come back to the run.
Anything, because you're right, he's pretty much been completely neutralized. Looking deep downfield, he rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off by the all-pro free safety, Earl Thomas. And he's able to get it back here to the 43-yard line. First possession of the 3rd quarter, an interception, so maybe a second-half tone setter.
Indeed, and not the tone they wanted to set. That's the equivalent of running out the wrong door and running into your pool instead of running out onto the field. A real dud for that one.
Has that happened to you before?
No, but I've heard stories about teams actually doing that back in the good old days.
They run it again with Lacey. They'll fight forward for a couple down inside the 40.
This is what happens sometimes when you abandon the running game. It's hard to get back to it because once guys get out of that mentality of firing out and hitting people, hard to get them started again occasionally.
On 3rd down, Wilson. He finds his man, Baldwin. And down he goes, taking it inside the 10, just shy of the 5 at the 6. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
I don't care how many times you tell the story, it never loses its luster for me. Doug Baldwin, undrafted out of Stanford, and plays like a #1 receiver should in the NFL.
And he is in for the Seattle touchdown. Eddie Lacy, his 10th touchdown of the season, 2nd of the game. And this Seahawks offense continues to pour it on. And he certainly played a pivotal role with those 2 TDs and why they're up on the scoreboard right now.
Well, someone's all about winning, aren't they? Because he's not worried about the number. Sure, it's great to have 2 touchdowns. But the bottom line is what he's doing is contributing to their lead. He wants to continue to do so.
Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. Adoree Jackson on the return. And he'll bring it a few past the 20 to the 23-yard line. The Titans offense now, they get set to head back out here. They have been struggling. I would imagine at halftime they went through some possible changes. Well, those changes aren't working, so now where do you go?
I think that now it's much more in their head. And what I mean by that is just what you said. You've gone over the changes. I bet they were pretty clinical at the half, not too emotional. They might need to go to the emotional side because you've got to find something, some spark somewhere. And so far, just being calm hasn't exactly worked.
They need any spark at this point. 10th carry of the game now, Murray. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up 3rd.
I think it's pretty evident we can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they've stopped him cold. To me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and the Seahawk defense gets to him, and they bring him down. Sheldon Richardson in there to drop him for a 6-yard loss, and that'll lead to a 4th down.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
Tyler Lockett. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. Tyler Lockett with his 2nd touchdown of the game and 5th on the year. And the Seahawks are running away with this one.
Brandon, I loved his game in college, and I thought he would translate well as a pro. Boy, did he exceed my expectations. Another punt return for a touchdown.
Busted onto the scene as an all-pro returner as a rookie. He's not looking back. And he's got it up and through. So after surrendering the punt return for a score, let's see what they can do in turn on this kickoff. This is taken at the 3. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. And the Seahawks defense working their way back out onto the field. Hope they didn't get too comfortable on the sideline. They had the 3 and out, the punt return for a touchdown. Boom, right back out there.
They're okay with that, though, because of what it led to. And let's face it, they keep a statistic, 4 3-and-outs. Most teams want to lead the league in those as well as in takeaways.
They'll be looking for another 3-and-out this time. 31 yards there and a first down.
And that's why defense coordinators always preach 11 guys to the ball. Because sometimes you have a missed tackle, but if you have a swarm of guys around, less room for them to roam even after the first missed tackle. In this case, tackle was missed, plenty of open field to get after that.
And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 45-yard line.
Brandon, that play typifies what we've seen from the offense all day long. They've had no success getting things going. I think for the offensive coordinator, he's got to go to that side of the play sheet that says, try something different, try some specials, something they haven't seen all day to try and get this offense kick-started.
Back now in Nashville, and this is a blowout so far as we get set for the fourth quarter. A very one-sided affair. Second down throw for Mariota. And that one got tipped, kind of threw everything off. It brings up third. Another wayward pass. You know, things started out poorly in this game, and to be frank, they just really haven't gotten much better.
And all that does is embolden a secondary. They feel good about what's going on, and they just play better and better.
And he locates Walker, complete. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. They convert on third with a gain of 22.
And he's the epitome of what we call the move tight end. A guy that you can line up anywhere. In the slot, out wide, in tight. Doesn't really matter because he has such great skills. You want to utilize him in all aspects of your passing offense.
And there he was in the slot. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Cliff Averill able to disrupt yet another pass play. His third sack of the afternoon.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
Second down, Mariota. It comes, and he lost the football. Mariota had it jarred loose. And fortunately, he's able to reel it back in, but it's going to go down as a big loss here on the play.
Well, that was a big oops right there. But how about his ability to correct it? Loses the football, able to get it back himself.
Yeah, pounced right back on it, keeps possession. Mariota will need a big play after the sack as the Titans come up 3rd and long. From the gun, Mariota. And too much juice. It'll be out of bounds, incomplete.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, 4th quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield. This is good. It was running out of gas there at the end, but he winds up getting just enough on it. And they'll get back 3, but this remains a large deficit. Well, it's a Pyrrhic victory at best, but Charles, no team wants to get shut out, so it's hard to blame them for taking the 3 there.
You can't blame them one bit. It hasn't been the best performance, that's for darn sure. But there is something to be said for fighting to avoid the goose egg. and they're at least trying to finish out strong.
Well, fourth quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical. Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the fourth as it was way back in the first, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
And he's going to be taken down, but not before reaching the 15-yard line. A good pick up there of 20 yards. They have the nice cushion. They just want to pour it on right now, still throwing the football.
And I know my background says, why do you need to do this? Just go ahead and run out the clock and get a win. But as many people pointed out to me, it's a video game, man. Go ahead and put the numbers up. Sportsmanship, not an issue.
Exercise those fingers. They'll run. This is Lacey. He takes us down to about the 12 for a gain of 3. Second down following the run. Wilson on the draw. He'll give to Lacey. Call it a gain of 5 there on the run, but they'll remain a yard or 2 short here with third down coming up. The Seahawks on third down, just 1 for 3 thus far. This time they face a 3rd and 2. So it's Seahawk football as we march toward a conclusion. They've got a third down now as they look for one more first down to help salt this one away. They'll try and run for it. Here's Lacey. They only got 2, but that was enough as they'll convert to make it 1st and goal.
Okay, no score on that play, but this guy's been a touchdown machine all year long. You know they trust him with the football.
Ringo. I got it.
They'll try to pound it in with Lacey. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. Now it's looking incredibly likely to be a 3-0 start to this season. That is obviously excellent. 2-0 is one thing. 3-0, you really have some momentum.
And now they're serving notice to the rest of the league that they're a pretty darn good football team. Confident, aggressive, attacking at all times. This looks like a team that you're going to have to deal with. And guess what? Behind closed doors, they're trying to figure out ways to get better.
That time a 6-play drive. And it's finished off by a touchdown run coming from Eddie Lacey. Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. And a short kick, taking it about the 16. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape as they get it up past the 30. And here comes Tennessee as they get set to take the field. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Well, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in the game like this, and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something executed well before we get out of here. And that was the message to the team.
Just something to build on.
Just something to build on, get it done, and maybe we can look at that and say, we'll get better as we go forward.
Throwing is Mariota, and complete to the tight end Walker, right side. And he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line. A Titan first down, Mariota to Walker.
Many different ways to create space, but on that play, he did it with that big, wide body of his. Didn't get a whole lot of yardage on the play, but it did what it was supposed to. Pick up a first down.
And some space here. Finding room inside the 40. And he'll slide down to avoid the contact. A good pickup there, a 22. Now they got to get to the line quickly. On 1st and 10, here's Mariota. It comes, and he lost the football. Mariota had it jarred loose. Now you've got to hustle your guys to the line and get them set. Mariota now on 2nd down. And he's going to get it down to the 33-yard line here. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down.
Let's not quibble about the gain there on 2nd down. That was a positive play because that was a take-what-you-can-get situation. Got out to the tight end. Now it gives them a much better opportunity to convert on 3rd down.
One last shot now for Mariota. He will find the rookie from Western Kentucky, Taywan Taylor. A big offensive explosion helped leading them to victory. And the defensive guys, they're just saying, hey, put those points up every week. We'll just keep winning.
They will gratefully accept them, won't they? It makes their job that much easier when they're scoring that many points. Allows them to play with a totally different style and a different flow.
So for the Seahawks, it's an ideal start as they move to 3-0 now on the young season. And they'll return home next week to take on the Indianapolis Colts. Meanwhile, for the Titans, they'll fall to 1-2. And they'll look to regroup next week as they head to Houston to take on the Texans. So that'll do it for us. For my partner, Charles Davis, and all the hard-working men and women on our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL right here on EA Sports. With that, we sign off from Nashville.